Switch book by Chip Heath and Dan Heath, a way to convince people to alter. To illustrate, you manage a team and need your team to use new project management software. How does one get them to change if you simply have a tool to influence people to vary our rational arguments like this program that contains more features and it'll facilitate your save longer? You almost certainly won't get aloof from the rationale because everyone has two breaths, a rational soul and an emotional self. The rational self is that the scheme and therefore the emotional self is that the subject with which these two minds interact, sort of a 150-pound rider sitting on top a 10,000-pound elephant when the rational knight thinks it should be changed, but the emotional elephant doesn't feel the urge to alter the elephant beat the rider. For example, you begin a brand new diet but somehow you bog down in an exceedingly room with a plate of freshly baked cookies that the author can. He pulls the reins and reminds the elephant why he shouldn't eat those cookies, but soon your looking for cookies will become so strong that the elephant will get what he wants after you propose a change to a follower, a teammate, a baby or a spouse. You wish to try to quite convince them that change could be a good concept, that you ought to also get change to feel good. In other words, you would like to motivate their elephant. Let me show you two powerful ways to try to this. The primary, thanks to stimulate an inner elephant for somebody, it's generating a way of progress. In 2004, where a city car wash performed an experiment that gave the car wash 300 loyalty cards to 300 random customers. The primary 150 loyalty cards needed 8 stamps to earn a free car, and therefore the remaining loyalty cards required 10 seals while washing the car free, but these cards came with 2 free stamps. Both cards require the identical effort to finish the car wash, but one form of card is more free car wash. Are you able to guess what won? The loyalty card with 2 seals stimulated nearly twice as many of us to come back 8 times and win a wash free cars. If you'll be able to get someone to believe they need completed a partial change like these two characters, you increase the percentages that they're going to change. If you happen to manage a team of designers performing on an old design program, you may have healthiness to urge them to change to a brand new program if you'll be able to show them how the new program is analogous to the old program, which their current skills partly put them in. Learning the new program curve. Within the book, the author suggests encouraging your wife to stay to a diet by saying that losing 40 pounds honey won't be easy, but you've already given a breast of soda, and that I bet that this alone will shed 5 pounds before the tip of a year. Now, if you have been having trouble finding past efforts to convince those who they've partially completed the change, try asking them if they're willing to begin the change for a brief period of your time. If you would like your teenager to wash his room, he asks if he's willing to line the timer for 5 minutes and see what proportion his room he can clean in those 5 minutes. When the counter rings, he wipes the area and admits the slightest progress, like how he picked up those 3 dirty shirts and put them within the hamper of. By acknowledging small amounts of progress after a brief period of your time, you're giving your kid 2 stamps on his loyalty card and motivating him to complete the task. And otherwise, to motivate a personality's inner emotional elephant is aligning change with their self-image. In 1977, The Street, Lucio Parrot was only present on the island of Street, Lucia. Lucia was on the verge of extinction, and there have been only 100 parrots left on the island because St. the Hints were poaching and destroying the bird's habitat. So in 1977, a 21-year-old university student named Paul Butler made it his mission to avoid wasting the bird. Lucia Butler's parakeet didn't have the ability to punish people for killing a bird, nor did he have the funds to make a parrot reserve. So instead, Butler did everything in his power to create St. Lucia believe the parrot was a part of their national identity that hosted Butler Street. Lucio Parrot parakeet doll shows, distributed parrot shirts, recruited volunteers to decorate like parrots, and visited local schools at public events. He was saying, "This Lucian parrot is ours and no one else has, that we have to cherish and be sure of him." After 30 years of those change efforts, Butler stated, "There's no street." Lucian was caught parrot hunting 15 years ago, which there are now over M parrots on the island. If you'll convince someone that he's not engaged on his self-image along with his identity, driven by change just like the people of a St. Lucia, but people even have a drive to vary if you'll show that their actions don't align with the person they aspire to be. A case study within the book that finds the simplest things to get CEOs to prevent making short-term decisions to realize success. Their quarterly goals were to remind these CEOs of CEOs assuming to be just like the CEOs of Microsoft, Coca-Cola, Google, and to indicate how these CEOs focused on long-term business goals instead of quarterly profits. So if you wish to create the change easier, the inner emotional elephant of individuals by showing how they alter with who they're or who they aspire to be now, if you'll make someone feel as if your change of labor isn't over now, you want to direct the contestant that you simply see the rational contestant likes to think, but whenever you let the knight wonder what I need to hump next or have intercourse right, whenever he pulls within the reins and also the elephant walks in a circle, quickly drains the elephant's impulse to forestall the knight from whom you wish to urge, eliminate all the paradox, and provides the knight explicit behaviors to implement. If you're trying to assist a lover build an exercise that's going, it pays to mention just head to the gym because these goals are so vague. Yield of puzzling over any gym after I do. What do I do once I get to the gym, and the way long do I've got to be within the gym? The authors say that ambiguity is the enemy. That is, successful change requires translating ambiguous goals into concrete behaviors. Think facilitating change like programming a computer. If you do not give specific commands to the PC, you'll get miscalculations. Several years ago, my friend helped me build the habit of going regularly to the gym by telling me exactly what to try to do from the instant I walked into the gym to the instant I got out. After I entered the gym, was instructed to travel straight to the treadmill, set the incline to 15 and walk for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes I used to be told to steer to the rack squat and put 5 more pounds on the bar than I did last week and do 5 sets of 5. My friend helped me in writing down every decision I made within the gym that eliminated the confusion and frustration I had felt during previous gym visits, but also left trivial decisions like what I should wear within the Riyadh gym, so if I had to shower within the gym or reception, because these weren't critical to the change that I used to be making after I faced these decisions. It doesn't matter what I chose, you do not need to worry about them once you write critical moves. For somebody walks through the change in your mind and finds the points most confused possible, then write exactly what they have to try to do in those moments. It's true that individuals like to be free, but not at the start of a change. Every decision that they have to form on their own will make them more proof against change within the end. Remember that every person is an element, a writer and an elephant. Part could be a rational soul and an emotional self to form someone act in a very new way. You wish to motivate elephants by giving them a way of progress, then making them see how things change with who they're or who they aspire to be. Then direct a contestant about by writing the critical moves that were the core of the message I gathered from The Switch by Chip and Dan Heath. This is often one among the simplest books on behavior change I've got ever read. I like to recommend it. If you prefer this video, please share it. Thanks for watching.